Welcome back to the 22nd Annual Home Buyers Fair. For the next 30 minutes, we will be discussing choosing the right builder. Stay tuned until the end of the segment to see how you can enter to win a gift card. My name is Alex Ortiz. I'm with Affordable Homes, and I'm a senior customer journey specialist. Today, we are with Rafael Munguia to talk about choosing the right builder. So, Mr. Munguia, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, Alex. First, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure being here with you guys. I'm a local home builder. I also sit here on the board with Osti, and I'm here to talk to you guys about how to pick a builder. So, thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah, so for those that are viewing that really don't know like how to go about choosing the right builder, what do you recommend for them? Like where can they start?
Well, I would say first, do a little bit of homework and then go out and drive communities, go see what type of product is out there, what type of homes, see what you start liking, what you start gravitating towards, and then, set up an interview with that builder, see how many years they have in business. I would look at past projects, maybe even talk to some past clients. I think really there's a lot of value there. If you're able to talk to folks that already went through the process with them, whether it be a direct purchase or a custom home, that would be a good start. And then see if there are any type of ratings that they have out there, like with the BBB, with the Better Business Bureau. And I think that would be a good start.
So how important is it to be? Do you have to be pre-qualified before you meet with a builder, or can they just set up an appointment without knowing like how much really can somebody afford? Or, like...
I think I see a little bit of both. I personally like it when they already come pre-approved because it shows that they've already been doing their homework, and if they're coming to you already with a pre-approval, well then they're serious, and there's already some set expectations that you can manage to, right? So you'll know how much they're approved for, and then you can start either designing a home for that or see if you have something available that fits their needs.
So usually, how long would it take for a home to get like constructed? From start to end, just building.
There's different schedules, right? Depending on the size of the home, that's really what drives it. And then also if there's certain intricacies also as well. So usually houses in an average market, you're talking anywhere from 3 to 4 to 6 months. So it's around that window. Bigger homes over, 2,500, 3,000 square feet, and not to get too specific, right? But once you get into the bigger realm, they can take up to a year. So it just depends.
Good. So what type of warranties are out there? What type of warranty are provided?
Do we offer what's usually in the market? Well, I know here most builders, and usually in the rest of the United States, it's a 1 year that usually builders offer that covers the whole home. And then there's supplemental 210 warranties. That's a 2 year for all your mechanical, which is electrical, plumbing, and AC and heating. And then your 10 year for your structural. So those are usually the two warranties that you have out.
So it's up to 10 years?
Yes.
So what would happen after the 10 years? So there's no more warranty. What can they do?
I know that if you do happen to have some serious issues, maybe insurance could kick in because you do have homeowners insurance. I'm not aware of any other supplemental warranties, but I will tell you that the reason that there is that 10-year threshold and the reason that most builders do it just for a year and they don't go to the 10-year is because most of the issues, if you are going to have issues with construction, they usually happen in the beginning of the year or that first year or the first 2 or 3 years. You usually won't have issues that arise, later. That's usually the case. But I'm not sure if there's any other supplemental warranty beyond the 210.
All right. So what about energy saving programs? Do you know of any out there, or what do they do for the customer? Does it help them out in their payments? Does it keep their electricity and all that the light bill and all that down?
Yeah, I used to be the president for the Greenbelt program here in the Valley, and yes, I think there's tremendous value when you do add those components to construction or residential construction, from savings to a better comfort level and better construction at the end of the day, which also I think in the long term yields you a better return on your investment with your home, right? Because if it's a better home that lasts longer, well, then you'll have a better resale value. So, and the programs that are out there, I'm sorry, are, there's multiple. I think there's even like a resilience program through a government entity, but the usual ones are Energy Star, the Greenbelt program down here, Built to Save as well, which is a program with Magic Valley, if I'm not mistaken. So they're all really good programs, and what they are is really taking one more step in doing things maybe just a little bit better, right, and a little bit more efficient. And not to say that building code is bad, right, but you are building at the bare minimum. So when you add these components, I do feel there's a tremendous added value there.
So we have a question from one of the viewers. If I am building a home for the first time, how do I know which builder is a good builder?
Okay. Again, I would research. One resource that we have here is the Builders Association. I've been a part of that association for many years now, and I think if you put your name out there and you're part of associations, that would be the first step, right? To find a builder that's, like I said, not afraid to put their names out there and be part of associations. The other way would be to go and drive subdivisions, drive projects, and see what it is that you like. And then from there, I think you can start narrowing the builders that could potentially service your needs or your likes.
So how important is it to have a contract? And is the builder the one to do the contract, or how do they go, like through a mortgage company? But how important is it?
It's very important to have things in writing. So I would suggest that you do get a formal contract. Sometimes it depends on how you're coming through, right? Or if you're going to be working through a realtor first and you didn't talk to a builder, there'll be contracts with them. But essentially, yes, you want a contract with your builder, and then you'll use that for financing if you're going to get financing with the bank and so forth. But that contract will serve to protect you and also to protect the builder, right? So it should benefit both parties. It's very important.
Great. So what are your thoughts about alternative building products that aren't traditional, like concrete panels, metal frames?
Oh, I think that's great. I've gone out there and built with ICF, concrete insulated forms, and I think it's great construction. I would just err on the caution of, if you make sure that sometimes it's hard to get values as a builder on the back end when you go too high tech. It happened to me. I was out there on an island by myself, and so I think if you have custom homes where you can, you and your client can kind of share that not input shock, but those additions, then yeah, I'm all for it. I think, for longevity purposes, construction would last more than wood, right? Not that wood is not a good construction material, but yes, I'm all for looking for innovative ways to better construction. Yes.
Great. So my next question to you would be that, can you explain what a cost escalation clause is, and is it included in the contract? I guess, some of our customers are pre-qualified, and I guess let's say the builder will let them know, hey, you know what, this is the set price for this, but then during the construction, they say they run out of a type of material, and they say, hey, you know what, well, this went up, so, would they have to bring in the difference, or like, how does that work?
It's a great question. The escalation clause would really serve to kind of protect the builder a little bit more, right? In case there's changes, like you just alluded to, prices in commodities like wood, right? And I'll be honest, it's tough sometimes for us builders when we're out there and you're quoting projects and you're going through all this process, and sometimes you're not necessarily going to start that home when you were projecting, and then that if it's not aligning with your vendor contracts and those windows, then you do see those fluctuations, and then unfortunately sometimes the builders are the ones that are stuck with the bill. So I would say I use them sometimes with my construction company, or most of the times. I really try to quote my homes to the best of my ability, so we try and avoid those situations, even though sometimes they do arise.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, I think they're all going to come. Like some of this stuff is going to happen.
Inevitable,
So let's say that does happen. Can the customer back out, or are you going to charge a certain percentage to them, or what happens to their deposit that they give? If that were to happen.
Yeah, those are all things that you would have to see how that contract or what it stipulates in there basically.
All right. So what do I need to do if I want to build on my own lot? Like, what is the process for that?
If you wanted to build on your own lot, well, if it's kind of tricky sometimes. Builders will do it where you have your own lot, the builder will take on the financing, right? And that lot kind of gets subordinated over to the bank that's doing the financing for the construction. And you kind of run in parallel like that, right? And you get deposits for whatever participation you're asking there from your client. But yeah, that's usually one way you can do it.
So in regards to that, let's say that I do want to build on my own lot. So if I choose whatever builder I choose, right? Can I bring my own floor plan, or do I have to go based off what they offer?
Well, depends, I think, again, what type of agreement. If you already have your preset plans, then you have your lot, you have your preset plans. Well, all you need now is your builder, right? And then financing. And so I think those would be the two components, I think, right?
Yeah. So I mean, would the builder charge? They say I have my plans, but they're not complete, or I want to modify it. So would it come in the contract, or like would the builder charge for that?
Some charge, and then others might not. It just depends, how they work.
Yeah. So that was
on a per case basis, I would say, for sure.
So also, I have a question because I get this a lot. So I don't know how you build your homes, but like there is a soffit. So they ask, not a soffit, I'm sorry. So I think they're called weep holes at the bottom of the house.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of customers ask, what is that for, right? They're worried about animals, like insects going in there. Not animals, I'm sorry. Insects. Yeah, you don't want animals going in. So yeah, insects. So they're worried about that. So what is that for?
Well, in that specific example, a weep hole, what it does is it'll provide avoid some moisture accumulating there behind the walls, because it'll let some airflow. So the weep holes, we install them. I've had the same questions with my clients because they think that something's going to go through there, and they're really made in such a way that doesn't happen. And it is a very good way to combat humidity when you have those capabilities down here because of all weather. So.
Yeah, well, and down here it's really hot. So aside from that,
by the way, that's a great way to do an exterior wall with weep holes.
Right. So there's two type of different. So there's your brick. So what is the life expectancy on a brick home?
Oh man, I don't know that off the top of my head.
So I've heard in different instances that it's 50 years. So
well, it's because it depends too, because your brick's like your skin, right? And then what's behind the skin, your bones, right? So
yeah.
And really brick is not structural, right? I mean, it's kind of attached there, and you have your 2-inch gap or whatever, right? And then your weep holes in between. It just really depends. I look at homes more like a system, a complete system, not. Right. So, to be honest, how long would that brick, as far as its integrity, last? If it's a good clay, longer than that, I think. But nowadays you have concrete and clay. I like clay bricks because concrete bricks, they absorb a lot of moisture. A lot of people don't know that, right? And if you don't have like a good water barrier behind that, right? And they didn't do it the right way, you'll have moisture issues. And with clay, you don't have that. Plus, it's a great insulator, right? So we've known that for years.
So is there
And it's
benefit?
lighter too.
Sorry, yeah, I'm going a little bit
For
fast.
the bricklayer, right? The poor brick.
Is there a benefit to building versus purchasing an existing home?
I think there's benefits to both, right? I always say, what is your current situation, right? I mean, time is of the essence, or what type of budget constraints do you have? When you're building homes, I always recommend you always have a little bit of, I exaggerate a little bit with money set aside because I've run into this rule where there's always like 10% change orders, and what are change orders when you're going through construction? Regardless, there's always these things that arise. And so not that you're going to pass it on to the consumer or whatnot, but yeah, it's always good to run things like that.
So you mentioned change orders. So at what point in construction, let's say I'm already, I don't know, at 50% of construction.
Mhm.
So at that point, can somebody come in and say, hey, you know what? I don't want this. Can you put this in, or can you take it out?
Yes, you can. I've had requests to knock down walls, and we've done it a couple of times.
Yeah,
I stay away from that now, but if that's what if the client, if that's what they want, I guess, right? But you're gonna have to pay out of pocket, and yeah, so clients need to understand that, right? So anytime that you're creating changes into already a specified contract with specifications and whatnot, it's tough to deviate, but sometimes there's wiggle room, right? I mean, it's not always the case, but if it is outside of the original scope, usually people, or not people, right? Contractors or builders will have a clause in there that says that they'll charge X amount, or you pay right out of pocket. Those change orders.
Another question with the change orders. So would you as a builder allow for, let's say that I'm building a house, you're building a house for me.
Mhm.
So let's say that you're building it, but I want to install a security system in there.
Mhm.
Would you as a builder allow like a third party to come in and do it while you're building, or would you have somebody from your company do it?
It happened to me in the beginning a couple of times, but no, you really want to steer away from that. And the main reason is, and I understand clients, there's sometimes a monetary benefit, right? They're not going to pay maybe as much, but that whatever it is that person does that's not in your contract now is outside of that, right? So let's say we talk about warranties. How are you going to warranty now someone that you don't even know, right? So you have all these issues on the back end, which I think are very important. You want builders, even though, we think we're going to be perfect, we're not, right? And so you want someone that has their hearts in the right place, and they're going to come back and take care of you, right? And sometimes you have to come back after the fact, but it's okay. And sometimes, if it's outside of the realm already, or if it was wear and tear, and clients know it's not valid, it's not valid.
Yeah, because I know when I.
But
when I
generally,
go
you
through the
want to help
process,
out.
Yeah, because a lot of customers, they want to do that because, like you said, it's cheaper for them to do it. But I mean, I think it's
You try.
I guess the customer is gonna hold the builder liable if something happens, or I don't know how.
Yeah, there's a disconnect there because again, it's not within the scope, and then for follow up, there's also another gap there, right? So I wouldn't recommend it unless you have no choice.
Do they have like walkthroughs? Maybe like at maybe a certain percentage of the construction is done. Do they get walkthroughs? Are they supposed to get a walkthrough, or are they supposed to look at the material that they're building out their home with, or what are they allowed to?
Yeah, usually there's milestones where clients can go and see how you've been advancing in them. On the selections, because there's meetings with vendors and so forth. So.
And the customer, they're there when you're building.
Yeah, they're interacting there a little bit. Yes.
So I mean,
a lot goes into this.
Yeah, I know. So if you're building them a home, and let's say that you're halfway with the tile, and then for whatever reason you don't have enough tile, are you going to replace all that? Is the builder going to pay for like taking out that tile and then replacing it?
If there was it a mistake or an installation
I guess
mistake,
it just
or
wasn't-
was it cosmetic? I mean, not cosmetic, but I mean, it's on a per case basis. If it's not done right, then yeah, you kind of have to redo it, right? Or if you don't think that you're responsible for doing it, then defend your thesis or show that, right, that you're in the right. There are certain little deviations that we're allowed, right? But usually, if you go by standards, I mean, you shouldn't have any problems, right? And I've always suggested to bring in inspectors if they have that many doubts. Bring somebody else, and that way you can have a high level discussion with someone that's in the same field. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it happens.
I have a question on the inspection, but we're gonna take a 30-second to a minute break, and then we'll be right back.
Natural gas is a critical part of our daily lives and the future of our energy independence. Every day, we at Texas Gas Service deliver safe, reliable, and affordable energy to local homes and businesses. Our customers rely on natural gas to cook meals, take hot showers, and dry laundry. We also rely on it for electricity. That's right, natural gas helps lessen the load on the Texas electrical grid. Nothing beats cooking with natural gas, since it cooks meals quicker, providing instant precise temperature control and even heat for about half the cost. Big on entertaining? Keep the house cool by using the natural gas grill in your backyard. We all appreciate hot water. Natural gas water heaters heat water faster and cost less to operate compared to electric alternatives. Tankless water heaters are even more efficient and provide an endless supply of instantly hot water. Compared with other energy sources, natural gas dryers can dry 2 towels for the price of 1 and dry clothes faster, which is more energy efficient and gentler on your fabrics. We also have an energy efficiency program that offers rebates on natural gas appliances and licensed installation. Qualifying customers can apply for rebates for natural gas water heaters, dryers, cooktops, and ovens, as well as tankless water heaters and gas and dryer stubs. Make sure to act fast because rebates are on a first-come, first-served basis while funds last. For areas of eligibility and program specifics, visit texasgasservice.com/rebates. Natural gas has proven to be resilient and reliable, even during the most challenging weather conditions, such as hurricanes and tornadoes. Having a natural gas power generator can add a level of protection and peace of mind by powering your home when the electricity goes out. If you're a builder or developer and want more information on natural gas installation or availability in your area, please reach out to our builder hotline for more details. If you currently are a customer, thank you. If you aren't one yet, we look forward to you being a valued customer.
All right, so we're back with Rafael Munguia. So we were talking about a little bit about the homes. So I have a question. So I know when the home is completed, it needs to get an inspection, right? Mm-hmm. So will you or does the customer have to bring in whoever they want as an inspector, or can they do both, or just one?
Yeah, well, you have your city inspections, right? That the city inspector goes to make sure that everything's according to code, and you get your final certificate of occupancy. But yeah, you could hire someone to go and do an inspection. I've had inspectors go by and we go through their reports, and I think it's a good thing. I don't shy away from them at all. On the contrary, and I think if you do things right, you have nothing to be scared of. And if there's something wrong, well, you get to fix it, right? So yeah. It's kind of like you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I think it's the smart thing to do. And then it does help you for long term, right? Because it'll help you on your warranty side as well. So sometimes we picked up stuff that we it just fell through the cracks. So yeah, I would recommend it. Why not?
All right, so I guess we're gonna retrack. So like me, listen, what advice would you give me if I'm looking to purchase my first home? So what are the main things I gotta worry about? Of course, I already know you gotta first get pre-qualified. That's, because I wanna know how much I can afford, right? So what would you recommend on the building side for me?
Oh, Carabella Home. No, I'm just kidding. What would I recommend? Like what path to take?
Yeah, so I guess like if I don't know, I mean I'm just gonna go into it and say, I don't know nothing about any construction, so I don't know anything like how
do I
go about
start?
it. Yeah, like just what would you recommend?
What we talked about, I think that pre-qualification is paramount, right? So that way you know how much you have to work with, and then based off of that, you can now go into the market, see what's out there that's available, maybe already that you can purchase and you like. Sometimes you don't have to go, you're thinking maybe you can build this home, but you might just run into it there in the market. I know down here, our builder folks are very creative, and we have some real nice homes, across all the spectrum. So sometimes you'll be surprised. You'll find a nice home already there, ready for you just to jump in. And if not, then if you're going to go through the custom side, there is many more intricacies, right? From financing to going through that time and construction and going through that process. I enjoy it, but it is a little bit sometimes nerve-wracking for folks, right? So you have to shepherd them through the process.
Yeah, it's a big step that they're taking. They're going to live in the home for X amount of period of time. So I mean,
Right, and sometimes the financing is also kind of tricky because if you don't have enough, for financing, then maybe the builder, or you don't have the credit capabilities, maybe the builders might do it. So that's where you get into those intricacies, right? But it just depends where you're at. In your case, starting from scratch, go and get pre-qualified.
Yeah, that's key. That's right.
And if you don't get qualified, work with folks that can help you too, right? And I know most folks, that's what they'll do. They'll put you in contact with the right folks so you can fix your credit. And in most cases, unless they're extreme cases, it usually takes 90 days, 6 months, no more than a year. And I think that's a good sacrifice to make for making a big purchase like a home. And I know places like Osti, they help out folks all the time that come here, like you're saying, with no knowledge whatsoever, but they have the intent of home ownership, which is great, and they help them out from A to Z. So that would be a good start too.
So another question. So let's say, what if the builder doesn't finish the project in that timeline that they gave them? I know it's in the contract, but what would happen then?
It depends. You can drop off of the project, and that's it. I mean, I've known of cases where it does happen, and so you just need to make sure that everything there is left. At whatever stage you were at, make sure that you could get it as buttoned up as possible, so that way those clients could continue with their project. Yeah. But when you do get into those scenarios, you are kind of married, right? But there is exits, there is outs, and even sometimes those they can get ugly, and sometimes you can work through them. So hopefully, if that were the case, hopefully you can work through that, and both parties can, maybe if they don't win, right, both, but they don't lose, kind of deal, right? And
I'm sure the builder's not going to lose out. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have. They might lose out, but I'm sure they're going to have people lined up.
Well, hopefully, what you want is to avoid those type of situations, and how do you do that? You do what we were talking about, right? You go look at a builder, you go talk to them, get some referrals, and hopefully you feel comfortable, right, with that person. And if it doesn't work, then sometimes it happens. But yeah, you want to do your due diligence up front.
Right. So how can I keep my costs down?
your costs down.
I would say maybe material wise.
Mhm.
Well, no, not really.
Like in your project, like when you're, if you guys, I mean, if you put a budget together, you try and stick to that budget. It's tough though. Sometimes it's just tough because you want to make some changes. So I would just try and have set aside, that 5-10% just in case. But to mitigate pricing changes, if your builder has locked pricing for a certain amount of time, then that'll help you so you don't have any pricing fluctuations. But the longer the project takes, the higher at risk you are for that. Well, not risk, right? But the higher probability that happens. And I think those documents, beyond them protecting anyone, what you want is you want to disclose that so at least they know, right? And it's not a surprise, like, oh man, now I'm getting charged for something. I think when the expectations are pretty clear and the cards are on the table, it helps alleviate some of that, right?
Yeah, well, everything's gonna be on contract, so I mean,
That helps.
So since, I have a question. So since you've worked with some large national builders and now with your own company, what is the difference from the customer?
Since you've worked with national, what's the difference from the customer's perspective?
I guess you're building with higher, I guess, on a larger scale and versus just.
No, I think that, I'm trying to understand the question. I think it's the same. I mean, you want to treat a client that's like an entry level home, if you may, or a startup home, just the same as someone that you're building $1 million home for. I don't know if that's kind of like a.
I think that was.
Or how is it different? Yeah. I guess now my like, how did I see my client base, or how did that change? Yeah, I went. I have several analogies, but I'm not going to use them. But yeah, I mean, you go from entry level. Yeah, there's complete differences. The level of sophistication of the clients, the risk at hand. It's a bigger number. Same amount of moving pieces, but yeah, it does change. Yes, it does. And honestly, you have to be really good at it. I took a little bit of a break right now from custom homes. It's been a couple of years. I started doing more entry level. Kind of reshape my focus. But I really enjoy, clients at any level, especially when it comes to building. I thoroughly enjoy building. I've taken the time to study and really enjoy the construction science and whatnot. So to answer the question, yes, the clients are. There's a little bit of a difference, yes. But as far as taking care of them, it's the same, right? So, I hope so, right?
Well, yeah, you're not going to treat somebody else different.
Well, no, because everyone's just as excited, right? A big home, just like a smaller home. But if it's your first home, trust me.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's exciting for everybody because it's going to be their first time. Yeah.
Yes. Anytime you see that, it's very fulfilling. It really is. Putting roofs over people's heads, there's a huge responsibility. And I'll be honest, it's been one of the hardest things that I've done beyond being a father, 4 kids. So yeah, it's up there. You have to really like it, I think.
So I'm going to ask you a question, but like, it's not going to be just in general. I'm going to ask you, like, what do you as a builder, like, what do you offer, let's say, like, extras, add-ons, and stuff like that?
What do we offer, like, as extras?
Yeah, like, I don't know, upgrades. Will you make it handicap accessible? What do you offer?
Yeah, I usually do little things here and there. We've been building homes priced more like in the $150,000 range, which I think is a good spot. And we try and add as much as we can in value. Like I try to drop down whatever I could sometimes do for bigger homes down to these homes. Like for instance, we use metal roofs, right? We use TPO for our flat roofs, which is almost like I think 40 or 60 millimeter thick material that you put on top on flat roofs, like a polyurethane. Anyway, we do that. We do foam insulation in our rafters. We use 8-foot doors. We do little things here and there that we add value to our clients, but like LED lighting, we do enhanced landscaping. I fully fence my homes. But beyond that, I think we try to keep things simple and keep things as affordable as possible. So that's kind of been our focus right now. But on upgrades, that's what we do. On little smart trinkets here and there, like the doorbell and.
And also, yeah, a lot of people, they want.
I like doing
this
this
stuff. Yeah.
Well, man, I mean, it's 2020, right? We have all this technology that has now embraced us.
But as long as that they're able to afford it too.
Right. But you know what? The good thing is that now a lot of these features are there. They are affordable. Ring is one of these startups that, well, they're not a startup anymore. I think they went public. They're an IPO. But they have all these neat features. And I try to add as much as I can. But like I said, the real value is in the structural and of the energy efficient features and whatnot.
All right. So that'll be it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Rafael Munguia.
There was one last question that said, do we build in Hidalgo? And I'd like to answer really quick.
All right.
To only build, yes, for right now, well, only in Hidalgo, but we do go down all the way to Cameron. But for right now, mainly in Hidalgo.
All right.
Sorry, solid question.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Alex.
Rafael Munguia. The keyword for this segment is Energy Star. Send an email to info@thehomebuyersfair.org with that word for a chance to win a gift card. Ahorita regresamos en español.